Saint Peter Damian, also known as Pietro Damiani, was a prominent Italian Benedict monk, theologian, reformer, and doctor of the church. He lived during the late 10th and early 11th century, making significant contributions to the church during a period of moral and ecclesiastical reform. Peter Damian was born in Ravenna, Italy, around 1007 AD in a notable but impoverished family. He lost both his parents at a young age and was raised by his older brother, Damian. Despite their economic struggles, Damian recognized Peter's intellectual potential and arranged for his education. Peter studied the liberal arts, theology, and canon law in Fienza and Ravenna, showing remarkable aptitude and dedication to his studies. In his early adulthood, Peter Damian entered the Benedictine monastery of Fonte Avellana, nestled in the Apennine Mountains of Italy. There, he embraced the monastic life with fervor, dedicating himself to prayer, study, and asceticism. He soon gained a reputation for his strict adherence to the rule of Saint Benedict and his commitment to spiritual discipline. Peter Damian's talents did not go unnoticed, and he quickly rose within the ranks of the church. He became renowned for his preaching, scholarship, and expertise in canon law. He was appointed prior of Fonte Avellana in 1043, where he implemented reforms to revitalize monastic life and combat moral laxity. His reputation for wisdom and integrity led to his involvement in various ecclesiastical affairs. In 1057, Pope Stephen IX appointed him Cardinal Bishop of Ostia, a position that Peter initially resisted but eventually accepted out of obedience to the Church. Throughout his life, Peter Damian was a tirelessly advocate for reform within the Church. He spoke out against simony, clerical corruption, and laxity of religious orders. He authored numerous treatises and letters addressing these issues, urging both clergy and laity to embrace holiness and pursue deeper relationships with God. One of his most significant contributions to reform was the involvement in the Gregorian reform movement, which sought to restore the authority of and morality integrity of the papacy. Peter Damian supported Pope Gregory VII in his efforts to combat lay investiture and clerical abuses, playing a crucial role in advancing the reform agenda. Peter Damian's impact extended beyond his lifetime. His writings on monasticism, theology, and spirituality continue to be studied and revered by scholars and spiritual seekers alike. He emphasized the importance of humility, prayer, and self-discipline in pursuits of holiness, leaving behind a rich legacy of spiritual wisdom. Peter Damian passed away on February 22nd, 1072, at the age of 64. He was canonized as a saint by Pope Leo XII in 1828 and declared a Doctor of the Church by Pope Benedict XVI in 1828. Recognizing his profound theological insights and contributions to Catholic tradition, St. Peter Damian remains a revered figure within the Catholic Church, celebrated for his piety, scholarship, and commitment to reform. His life and writings continue to inspire Christians around the world to seek God earnestly, and pursue lives of holiness and virtue. The title Doctor of the Church is a special designation given by the Catholic Church to certain saints whose writings and teachings have significantly contributed to the understanding and development of Christian doctrine. Designating someone as a doctor of the church acknowledges their profound theological insights, spiritual wisdom, and enduring influence on the church's teachings and traditions. The concept of doctors of the church began to develop in the Middle Ages, although it is not formalized until later on. The first individual to be recognized as a doctor of the church was Saint Ambrose of Milan, born 342 and passed away 397, who he was honored with the title in the 13th century. However, the specific criteria and formal process for designating doctors of the church was not established until later on. The official recognition of and formalization of the title Doctor of the Church began in the 16th century. Pope Boniface VIII, circa 1294 to 1303, and Pope John the 22nd, circa 1316 1334, made early references to the term, but it was Pope Pius V, circa 1566 to 1572, who, in 1567, officially recognized four individuals as doctors of the Church: Saint Ambroise, Saint Augustine, Saint Jerome, and Saint Gregory the Great. Since then, the title has been conferred on additional saints whose writings and teachings have made significant contributions to theology and spirituality. The criteria for being named Doctor of the Church includes orthodoxy of doctrine, holiness in life, renown for learning, and approval by the Church. As of the uploading of this video, there are 37 doctors of church, including prominent figures such as St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Teresa of Avila, and St. John of the Cross. Being recognized as a doctor of the church is a high honor within Catholicism, signifying not only the individual's personal sanctity, but also enduring value and relevance to their theological writings for the church's understanding and proclamation of their faith. Saint Peter Damian is often depicted in religious arts with several keys elements that symbolize his life, virtues, and contribution to the church. Here are just some of the common elements found in his iconography. As a Benedictine monk, St. Peter Damian is typically depicted wearing the black habit of his order, which consists of a long robe with a hood. This represents his commitment to monastic life and the rule of Saint Benedict, which he followed with great devotion. Saint Peter Damian was a prolific writer and theologian, known for his numerous treatises, letters, and sermons. In many depictions, he is known for holding a book or a quill pen, symbolizing his scholarly pursuits and contributions to theological discourse. The censer and whip. These are two instruments often associated with St. Peter Damian's aesthetic practices and commitment to discipline. The censer represents his dedication to prayer and worship, while the whip symbolizes his austere lifestyle and penitential practices. In some representations, St. Peter Damian is depicted wearing a papal tiara or a bishop's mitre, highlighting his role as a cardinal bishop and his involvement in ecclesiastic affairs. This symbolizes his influence within the church and his advocacy for reform. As a key figure in the Gregorian reform movement, St. Peter Damian may be depicted alongside Pope Gregory VII or other reformers of the time, such as St. Hildebrand. This emphasizes his efforts to purity of the church and restoration of its morality authority. Like other saints, Saint Damian is often depicted wearing a halo, symbolizing his holiness and proximity to God. Additionally, various symbols of sanctity, such as rays of lights or a dove representing the Holy Spirit, may surround him in his iconography. St. Peter Damian's rigorous ascetic practices are sometimes represented through symbols of penance, such as hair shirts or a scourge. These symbols underscore his commitment to self denial and purification of his soul. Overall, St. Peter Damian's iconography reflects his identity as a Benedictine monk, theologian, reformer, and doctor of the church. Through these symbols, artists convey his virtues, accomplishments, and enduring legacy within the Catholic tradition. As with many saints, there are numerous accounts of miracles attributed to St. Peter Damian. These miracles, which are often recorded in hagiographies and other religious texts, serve to illustrate his sanctity and intercessory power. While it's important to approach these accounts with discernment, as they may be subject to embellishment over time, they nonetheless reflect the widespread veneration of St. Peter Damian and belief in his miraculous intervention. Here's a brief summary of just a few examples of miracles associated with him. St. Peter Damian is said to have performed numerous healing miracles during his lifetime. These include instances where he interceded for the sick and suffering, praying for their recovery, and witnessing their miraculous healing. Such healings often took place in response to his prayers and were attributed to his holiness and closeness to God. Like many saints, St. Peter Damian is believed to have possessed the power to exorcise demons and liberate individuals from demonic possession. There are accounts of him driving out evil spirits through prayer and spiritual authority, demonstrating his ability to confront and overcome spiritual afflictions. Some hagiographies attribute miracles involved in nature to St. Peter Damian, such as calming storms or multiplying food to feed the poor. These miracles underscore his spiritual mastery over the natural world and his compassion for those in need. After his passing, Peter Damian continued to be invoked for miracles and intercessions. There are miracles involved in individuals being healed or experiencing other forms of divine intervention after praying for him or visiting his tomb. These posthumous miracles contributed to his cult as a saint and fostering devotion among the faithful. Finally, St. Peter Damian was known for his zeal in preaching and evangelization, and there are accounts of miracles associated with his efforts to bring sinners to repentance. These miracles often involve dramatic conversations or instances where individuals experience profound spiritual transformation as a result of his preaching and prayers. It's important to note that while these accounts are integral part of St. Peter Damian's hagiography and veneration, they should be approached with a critical eye. Miracles attributed to saints often become embellished over time, and historical records may not always provide definitive evidence for their occurrence. Nonetheless, these accounts serve as testimony to the enduring impact of St. Peter Damian's life and spiritual legacy. The process of sainthood, also known as canonization, involves several stages within the Catholic Church. Here's a quick overview of the process St. Peter Damian underwent to be recognized as a saint. The first step towards canonization is the recognition of an individual's sanctity by the local church community. After their death, a formal inquiry may be initiated to gather evidence of their holy life, virtue, and reputation for sanctity. If there is sufficient evidence, the bishop of the local diocese where the individual lived may initiate the cause for canonization by declaring them a servant of God. Once the bishop's investigation is complete and approved by the Vatican's Congregation for Causes of Saints, the person's life and writings are further scrutinized. If they have been found to have practiced heroic virtue, they may be declared venerable by the Pope. This step does not require evidence of miracles attributed to the individual. The next step is the beatification. To be beatified, one miracle attributed to the intercession of the venerable is typically required. The miracle undergoes rigorous investigation to ensure its authenticity and that it cannot be explained by natural causes. If the miracle is approved by the panel of experts, the Pope may proceed with a beatification ceremony in which the individual is declared blessed and their cult is permitted within specific regions or religious orders. Canonization is the final step in the process of sainthood, in which the individual is formally recognized as a saint. For canonization, one more miracle occurring after beatification must be attributed to the intercession of the blessed. Similar to the beatification process, the miracle undergoes thorough investigation before being presented to the Pope for approval. Once this miracle is authenticated and confirmed, the Pope may proceed with the canonization ceremony, during the which time the individual is officially declared as a saint and their feast day is established. In the case of St. Peter Damian, his canonization process follows these general steps. He was first recognized as a servant of God, then declared venerable for his heroic virtue. After the approval of one or more miracles attributed to his intercession, he was beatified and finally canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church. St. Peter Damian was canonized by Pope Leo XII on July 22, 1828. His feast day is declared on February 21st in the Roman Catholic calendar. Hagiographies are biographical accounts or narrative of the lives of saints and other holy individuals. These texts often focus on the virtues, miracles, and spiritual experiences of the saints, aiming to inspire and edify readers with examples of exemplary Christian living. The word hagiography is derived from the Greek word hagios, meaning holy, and graphian, meaning to write. Hagiographies emerged in the early centuries of Christianity as a way to preserve and transmit the stories of the martyrs and other revered figures within the Christian community. The origins of hagiography can be tracked back to the early Christian communities, where accounts of the lives and martyrdoms of saints were orally transmitted at first and eventually written down. These early hagiographies served not only to commemorate the lives of the saints, but also to promote devotion to them and to provide models of Christian virtue to believers to emulate. One of the earliest and most influential hagiographical works is The Lives of the Desert Fathers, compiled by Saint Athanasius of Alexandria in the 4th century. This collection contains accounts of the lives of early Christian ascetics and monks who lived in the Egyptian desert, showcasing their struggles, virtues, and spiritual wisdom. Throughout the Middle Ages and beyond, hagiographies continued to be produced and circulated, often in the forms of saints' lives, mart- martyrologies, and collections of miracles. These texts were written by various authors, including bishops, monks, and other religious figures, who sought to glorify God through their stories of the saints and to foster devotion among the faithful. While hagiographies are primarily associated with Christian tradition, similar biographical accounts of holy figures can be found in other religious traditions as well. These texts play an important role in shaping religious identity, fostering piety, and transmitting spiritual values from one generation to the next.